Why do you think conspiracy theories are so popular? What makes us doubt or believe in them? Watch to the end to learn about the 5 most famous conspiracy theories and why we are so obsessed with them. Number 1. 5G towers, vaccinations, and Bill Gates. Certainly pandemic conspiracy theories top our list. And no wonder, since conspiracy theories are flourishing amid general panic and uncertainty. Our brains, shaped by millions of years of evolution and struggle for survival, are desperate to reach a stable state where you and I are standing securely on the ground with 2 feet. Everything is perfectly clear and nothing portends trouble. In a state where no one in the world is able to predict with certainty the future course of events, people are willing to believe literally anything that somehow explains what is happening. Unfortunately, the ultra-modern 5G towers began to be launched not long before the spread of the unfortunate virus. Of course, it was not without people who drew parallels between the 2 events. As a result, we got repeated pogroms on the 5G towers all over the world. Naturally, there is no scientific evidence linking the pandemic to the new network. And of course, we can't ignore another theory related to the coronavirus, which has become fertile ground for a whole avalanche of memes online. According to this theory, the coronavirus was specially developed by scientists at the request of the secret government headed by Bill Gates in order to chip the population of the Earth and track all our actions for the benefit of corporations. If this is seasoned with biblical omens about the end of the world when all the people will be numbered, then you get a total combo that can just drive you insane. This theory is often propagated by anti-vaccinators as an explanation for their refusal to vaccinate. Interestingly, 44% of the Republican Party members believe the theory about Bill Gates and chipping under the guise of COVID-19 vaccines, according to recent polls. What's most amusing is that along with the anti-vaccine conspiracy, there is the exact opposite. Allegedly, a secret government or Masonic lodge, whatever you want to call it, is deliberately pandering to the anti-vaccine movement to reduce the world's population. All these arguments are absolutely groundless because it is difficult to imagine that on a global scale, even an ingenious secret government could have predicted the scale of spread and mutation of the virus. Perhaps the entire world population could not have survived, including the government itself. Number 2. The Whole World Matrix. The question of whether we live in a simulated universe has been hotly debated since the Enlightenment. There's no definite answer, but simulation theory holds that the universe is an advanced digital construct controlled by some higher form of intelligence. Even Elon Musk couldn't resist this theory and wrote on his Twitter that the probability that we are not modeling reality is 1 in a billion. According to Musk, a strong argument that we are probably in a simulation is that, as he put it in 2016, 40 years ago we had Pong, 2 rectangles and a dot. That's what games were like. Now, 40 years later, we have photorealistic 3D models with millions of people playing at the same time, and things are getting better every year. And soon, we will have full-fledged virtual and augmented reality. It makes sense that games will soon be indistinguishable from reality. Number 3. The QAnon phenomenon. A whole banquet of conspiracy theories is associated with the relatively new QAnon movement. An anonymous internet user who spoke under the nickname Q is considered to be the originator of this movement. He based it on a myth that originated during the 2016 US election campaign that a group of pedophiles associated with Hillary Clinton, Pizzagate, operated in a pizzeria in Washington state. Despite the fact that the claim of the existence of such a group has not been confirmed, British singer Robbie Williams stated publicly that he considers this information to be true. Q himself called himself a Secret Service agent with inside information and predicted that Clinton would soon be detained. While that never happened, Q's convoluted theories are still resonating with a growing number of supporters around the world today. Lately, messages tagged with the hashtag QAnon have been circulated most frequently by users in the United States and the United Kingdom. The latter call refers to a conspiracy theory circulated by QAnon supporters that an international group of powerful pedophiles called Deep State is kidnapping children to make the elixir of eternal youth from their blood. Supporters of the movement believe former US presidential candidate Hillary Clinton and US billionaire George Soros are involved in such crimes. Deep state, according to this theory, is a kind of world government, which, like a puppeteer, pulls the strings of the powerful. The power of deep state is opposed above all by former US President Donald Trump, QAnon activists believe. Number 4. There was no moon landing. One of the most theories which has endured for decades is the theory that the moon landing was faked. In July 1969, astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to land on the surface of the moon. But by the 1970s, 30% of Americans believed that the moon landing had been faked. New alternative stories soon emerged. It was because of this theory that William Casing began to write We Never Were on the Moon, America's $30 billion fraud, as a satire, but he ended up believing the conspiracy entirely himself. The basic idea behind his book was that the footage of the astronauts taking their first steps on the surface of the moon, which hundreds of millions of people watched live on television, was actually taken at Area 51 in Nevada. More recently, in 2019, a small poll found that 10% of Americans still believe that the moon landing was a hoax. Number 5. The Earth is really flat. Finally, we left you with the most absurd of conspiracy theories. Enjoy. The 2017 International Flat Earth Conference featured speakers such as Mark Sargent, who hosts a YouTube video series, Clues to a Flat Earth, and played a leading role in the Netflix documentary Behind the Curve, about a flat Earth. Sargent argues that the world is a flat sound stage under a dome, like the Truman Show. While there are no extensive polls on how many people think the Earth is flat, there's evidence that even young people are more likely to believe it is. So how does the universe work according to most flat earthers? They believe that the Earth is a disk with a diameter of about 40,000 kilometers. It is surrounded by a wall of ice around the edges. What lies beyond this barrier? No one knows for sure. No one who has tried to overcome it, no one has ever returned. But the flat earthers hope that one day some brave man will manage to accomplish this feat and tell us the truth hidden by the authorities. The stars, the sun, and the moon are above the Earth's disk. Their movement across the sky leads to the changing of the seasons. Lunar eclipses are explained by the existence of some shadow object or anti-moon, periodically hiding our satellites. What about gravity, you ask? It's simple. Of course, it does not exist. The presence of gravity is due to the fact that the Earth disk moves upwards with a constant acceleration of 9.8 meters per square second. It occurs due to the influence of the mysterious dark energy. However, its nature flat earthers are not yet able to explain. It is funny that in this aspect their doctrine even slightly overlaps with the real picture of the world. Of course, pictures of the Earth from space are fabrications. All filmed in Hollywood, of course. Stanley Kubrick used to do this work, but now James Cameron and Christopher Nolan are taking over. NASA was created with one single purpose: to hide the truth from the people of the Earth. While it is easy to laugh at the flat Earth theory, which the theorists themselves accidentally disproved in Beyond the Curve, such faith may be a precursor to extreme scientific skepticism about problems with real consequences, such as vaccines. What other conspiracy theories do you know? Do you think they could go away? Write in the comments.